Good morning, paranormal community, and thank you for partaking in this amazing episode of the Odyssey Files. I'm your host, Michael Neal. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Anthony Hernandez. Good morning.
Good morning.
Again,
The
textbook
high energy, right?
levels.
Can't take it.
Yeah, the high energy level. Out of all the people I know, I think you love life the most. Just hear it in your voice.
I can't think of that saying, but yeah, seize life or seize the moment or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And again, I don't have it either. But I'm sure there are many people listening to the show who are like, this is it, and they won't tell us. So we'll just have to see it. But you know what? It's interesting. It just occurred to me that for the last like 9 years, I have started every show with the exuberance of the good morning or good after, whatever time we were doing the show. And now your trademark is just, hey,
How's it going?
You are the balance. So you bring the level back down to normal.
Yeah, I am the yang to your exuberance and happiness, and we're like, no, it's just okay.
It's just okay. All right. So don't really have that much like the updates that we would probably do, except which will only affect the people who listen to the show like right away, but people who hear it down the road won't give a shit. But we will be off next week. It is July 4th, next weekend, and in celebration of America's 250th birthday, because that means a lot to us. Apparently, we will be taking the week off. But even though I won't say his name, only because he has not completely confirmed yet. We're waiting on it. But the week after, we have an amazing guest planned. You're really going to want to pay attention to that. And I will, once we get that confirmation, I will probably promote the shit out of it. So you guys will see it. Or if you're listening to this show a month from now, you already know. So there you go. Was it Nostradamus? Is that his name?
Nostradamus. Yeah.
Nostradamus. You be him. So interesting show for you guys today. Surprisingly, a topic we have not taught in 381 episodes. Like, this topic has not really come up like ever. And that's interesting to me. But the reason it's coming up is after Father Bob Bailey was on last week, for nostalgic reasons, I popped in a bunch of Paranormal State episodes. And it's been a while. Like, I own the series on DVD and I watched them all, but it's been a couple years since I watched more than in like an episode or two. Sometimes the inspiration comes up where I'm just like, I haven't seen this episode in a while, so I'll go ahead and pop one in. But started from the beginning and rekindled my admiration and respect for how PRS did things. And, whether it's for the camera or not, I don't care. I'm sure a lot more and I've read Ryan Buell's book. So like, I see different scenes that he talks about. I'm like, I know the backstory of that one. But, in one of the first couple of episodes, Elfie, who I've been wanting to get on the show for a long time and completely spaced on that for the last couple of years, did a binding ritual. In like in a boat in the middle of the like this small little pond, um and I was really taken by that because uh you don't see that very often. You don't see that at all, to be honest with you. And unlike any of the paranormal TV, like nobody ever does a binding spell anymore. They never show that kind of stuff. I even started watching a little bit last night, and they did another one. Um, and I was just like, why don't we talk about that more? Because honestly, and even looking up this research, like that seems to be like a very important part of paranormal investigation, like a weapon that you can use against those who like mean to do evil or do harm. And I've never done it. I've never even thought of it as part of a paranormal thing, but I do now. But I think it's important that people understand what like exactly what binding spells are and what they're used for. And based on your research, which I'm very happy I told you not to send me, uh, you and we were laughing about this before the show. You went back to the beginning of time
Of
and
course.
found
Mhm.
the original thing. But we'll get into this later. But I'm because maybe you're going to answer this. But going over like examples of different spells and stuff that whether it's Wiccan, whether it's Christian, whether it's voodoo, you like the shit that people have to like gather is crazy and so random and ridiculous sometimes that how do people even come up with this shit for what constitutes a
Listen,
binding spell? So like I said,
misinterpretation.
it may be in your what'd you say?
I said misinterpretation of some things or a lot of
Maybe
it.
because like I went through a couple of them, and one of them like had a whole laundry list of stuff, but it was like cinnamon and a piece of thread, and you need DNA, and like it was like, are you making a pie? Like, what is going on here?
Mhm.
Like, it was just random stuff from all over the place, and I don't know. It was really crazy. But anyway, take us away. Take us back to Mesopotamia. Apparently, where
Mesopotamia.
this all started.
Well, that's just I think the earliest recorded history of it, and basically they would use the binding spells against what they thought were witches. Now, they didn't they didn't progress to the Puritans level of this stuff, so they made basically dolls of who they thought were witches and would burn the dolls. So no, at least and what I saw, no burning of people or no evidence of that. It could have happened, but they had fire rituals where they would go out and bind that person to the doll and then toss them in the fire and burn them.
And then what did that do to the actual person?
Supposedly, it would nullify their power, basically kill the any sort of magic that they were trying to put on that person.
Gotcha. So they had like a deep. It wasn't supposed to actually kill the person. It was going to make them normal, quote unquote.
Yeah, cut the power, basically no influence over them is basically what their rituals would do.
So here's my question then
Cool
to
night out at
that.
the bonfire.
Isn't using magic to take away somebody else's magic just you being the exact same? Isn't that you just being a hypocrite?
It at least from what I found, people would do it all the time. I was like, it didn't. Wait till we get to the Roman time frame, because to me that was just a comedy skit waiting to happen with how involved that was.
All right, we'll take us there. However
So
you want.
the Romans basically, so the Mesopotamians started it with the dolls and stuff, and I guess maybe that was too much work. So the Romans is really where archaeology at least comes back to them putting the curses on lead tablets, and basically they would encourage people to go out and steal pieces of the plumbing, the lead plumbing that the water's running through for you to drink, which obviously is really healthy for you.
Right.
But they would encourage them to go get pieces of this stuff because it was malleable, so they could basically take a scribe of some sort and make writing in it. Now, a lot of what I think a lot of people overlook is that your average person is can't read, can't write, can't do any of this stuff. So enter the clerks and the scribes and stuff like that, and they had apparently the booming business of like they had stacks of pre-generated ad lib type curses and stuff like this to where uh so and so insert name here twists his ankle and can't plow his field and causes hardships and stuff like this, and basically they'd come out of the shelves and someone would come in and be like, I hate Jeb, and like we're gonna curse Jeb, and he'd basically pull one of these blank ones out, put Jeb name in there. I don't know if he handed him the nails and stuff, but basically you wrote this thing on there, folded it over, put a nail through it, and then you went and put it, as crazy as this sounds. So you take the lead, which I'm assuming to them they thought was no big deal since their water was flowing through this crap anyway, and go throw it in the well. And you know, you're throwing it in Jeb's well and can't believe that any bad things would happen from the lead being in the water when Jeb drinking this for a long time. And then you had so we'll say this is Sam the scribe. Well, then Paul the scribe also did the same thing, but uncursing. So he would undo what Sam was doing in the other thing. And I'm pretty sure these dudes had like some sort of scheme together where like, hey, I just wrote one for Jeb, so you might want to tell Jeb he needs this uncursing thing. And for five more shekels, we can add some more magic words or some other deities on there because they would also
Add more
intersperse.
extra words. We just add a couple of extra sentences.
Well, I mean, you're giving it to someone who has no idea what you're even writing on there because they can't read it. So they would do things like they would be like, for extra effect, we can add some Egyptian gods on there because the Egyptian gods may not like them as much as our gods do. So we can always get these foreign gods and throw them on there to try to do them in as well. And I'm assuming they would probably charge extra for that stuff. And they would kind of go all out with stuff. They would write backwards, of course, and you had the common people who would try to duplicate it. So they've found pieces of lead that just have gibberish looking writing because they would just try to copy what they thought the scribes were writing, but of course they had no clue. So it would just be gibberish written on a lead tablet and thrown into wells. And they also believed that if you put it in the basically a tomb of someone who died prematurely, and the more premature would be the stronger connection to this realm. So like if there was an accident and a child died, they would try to put this thing in the child's tomb because that way that spirit would take this to the underworld and do your bidding and stuff like that. It was apparently a big thing where people would go and mess with graves and stuff like that to try to put curses and all sorts of stuff like that in there.
So it sounded like they were trying to enslave spirits to be their own servants.
I don't. Well, I mean, definitely use them as a courier.
You said take it to the underworld, and then they would have to do their bidding.
Well, they would take it there, and they had a stronger connection to the underworld, a stronger connection to this world because they died prematurely, is what they thought.
I'm glad you put in that's what they thought, because that's ridiculous. But obviously, this is New World knowledge stuff.
Yeah.
Back then, I would assume probably sounded like it was the words of God.
Yeah.
Wow. It's hard to believe that the Roman Empire died out.
Yeah. There's as recently as the last 10 years, I don't remember the exact year that they did, but when they were doing excavations in the Colosseum, they found these lead tablets with the nails and stuff at the starting points for chariots and stuff. So apparently, gamblers were huge for trying to curse the competition because they would be waging their life's wages to win if the other one didn't. So they'd be like, for the horse to trip, to bind its hooves, for the driver to lose sight, and I mean, it went from everything from racing to if you had a legal dispute and you were going to the courts, they wanted the other person to get tongue tied, forget their case. And I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that you can look out there and see some of these things now, as opposed to a lead tablet. There's like, I don't know, you go to some of those shops and you can get a candle for luck at the courthouse and whatever stuff. Bring you lots of money after you pay us money to get your magic candle that gives you money. And apparently that's a pretty booming business as well.
Even as I was looking up a whole bunch of stuff, because even though I was focusing on binding spirits to objects
And I
and that sort of thing and how it's used in investigations and stuff, came across like just a shit ton of like binding love spells.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm just like, what? I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Not that I would do it. But I
Now
mean,
the Greeks were kind of, I want to say theirs was the one that had the, so in order to do love spells in Greek to bind a person, which all I can say is like, and we'll get into it more when you talk about the actual spirits and demons and stuff. Generally, when you bind something, regardless of if they know who did it, they don't like you usually when that happens. So I'm just when you try to bind someone for love and stuff like that, I just think there's a price that comes with that. I don't know, you may not really be willing to pay. But
oh
so
yeah.
the Greeks would make basically a clay statue of the person you were trying to bind their love to you, and basically you would take 13 iron needles and stick it in like her hair, the eyes, so she would be blind for other people couldn't see her beauty, the hair was so no one would like it, the boobs so no one would lust after her, like just like all those things. And it would be 13 needles that you would stick into this thing to try to make them unappealing to anyone else.
See, that seems to be the reverse of what like at least a decent guy or girl, because it goes both
Well,
ways.
yeah.
It's not like binding male spells. I mean, but like that seems to be not that she. I'm just going to use myself here. Not that she would love you, but you're sabotaging her so that nobody would ever love her.
Correct. So you're the
Like
only
that.
one that would love her, so you're the only option. You're the only door that opens, and
If you're the last man on earth, well, I don't need to be. I just need to be the only man that apparently that can be interested. Like that sounds to me the exact opposite. Like that
oh
deserves to
yeah.
have some repercussions
Well, I mean,
to it.
any of the ones that you start talking about with like messing with people's emotions, you're altering their free. You're trying to alter their free will. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I would think there's a big karmic price to pay on the opposite side of that. And I've heard tons of stories where that goes terribly wrong, and you go for love and you get obsession to the psychotic level.
Yes, yes, indeed. So I'm glad you brought that up because what, and maybe this is just the fact that I never really looked into it, but what I found was that binding spells are not, hell, they're not even mostly used to bind spirits. They're mostly used to bind living people. But
Yep.
everything, like I until like you were talking about the whole Mesopotamia and the Roman thing where like people were trying to legitimately curse more than bind people, like everything that I read from any whether it was Christian, Wiccan, whatever, was meant to stop harm. What was
Yep.
meant to right wrongs and justice and stuff. It was meant to, stop people from hurting others. And so that's what throws me for this loop, that the cues change. Obviously, there's a lot of time in between the Roman Empire and now, but I
Yeah.
mean, but one thing that I did read said, yes, it does mess with free will. But the other said it doesn't mess with free will, it just puts up boundaries. So I think that's a roundabout way of saying that it messes, like you're trying to make yourself feel better, so to
I was gonna
speak.
say, is that the lawyer speak for? I hope you got a lawyer when you get to the gates, and they're like, "Well, you over here subverting people's free will," and they're like, "No, no, no, it was just I was only showing mind that was there," and they're like, "Yeah, no,
Yeah. Don't think that's gonna work. But
no,
uh but yeah, I saw story after story of people who were like, a husband was harassing his wife, and or like sexually abusing their daughter or whatever, and they put this binding spell to stop it, and that was it. It wasn't meant to cause, it was meant to stop harm.
oh
and
yeah."
and so here's my question to you, and this is just in general. I don't know if you saw it in your research or not, or just you want to throw in your opinion, but does that deserve like a karma, like, backlash? If you're trying to do good, but you're still, I mean, you are still interfering in what somebody wants to do.
Well, so I mean, they have things like the evil eye amulets, and that's basically to divert those things and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're talking about. I guess finding that person is a lot better than waiting till they fall asleep, pouring gasoline on them and setting them on fire. So, I mean, in that regards, yeah, it's definitely not as binding or as permanent as it could be. Um, but I mean, well, I mean, if they're doing harm and you're basically stopping the harm, I wouldn't think that would count. I wouldn't think that would. I think that would be just canceling the negative effects from them. So, and it's not like you're trying to permanently stop them. You're just trying to divert their attentions and stop the attention from going to wherever it was going before.
So I mean, and this goes back to the very foundation of everything that you do in investigating, is intent. Like everything just seems to have intent to it,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's the main key. I mean, and as I was reading all of these things that you have to do in order to have this spell or this spell or that spell, uh, I'm just like, everything just seems to be like set up to be the focus. Like there, I saw almost no difference between Wiccan and Christian binding spells, except for maybe a few words. Um, there was one here.
Semantics.
I'm
That's
actually sorry. Oh, go ahead.
it. It's all semantics. I mean, really, when you break it down, I mean, and I've always thought that the religion is kind of ritualistic, and there's rituals that you're going through, and it's stuff like that. Well, witchcraft is just rituals, and I mean, it's you're going for the same. You're going for an ultimate purpose with it. So is the same with the religion. It's just different, but you're still going through putting your will into it. You're still putting your. I mean, it's putting yourself into it, and when you get into the Celts and the Vikings and stuff like that, they went away from getting the actual physical pieces for the rituals, and they believed heavily in the spoken word. Now the Vikings took it a step further and went to the bind runes and stuff like that, and did runic stuff, and I think the Celtics did some stuff as well. But theirs was heavily influenced by just they thought your breath was putting it out into the universe and was a power source and would basically power what you were willing to happen.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to that. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's just it was all intent. I mean, but there's something that I want to read here, and it goes to the differences of words. And so this is um, Christian, and this is just the generalized. This isn't an actual prayer or anything, but under the general protection or binding prayer, because as you said, the Vikings they went more with the word, the spoken word,
Yeah.
and so did Christians. Like almost everything is all prayer, like a binding prayer as opposed to a spell. But here's the wording that was used. It says often utilized in deliverance ministries, such as those practiced by the St. Michael Center. This prayer paralyzes evil entities and commands them to be inactive against believers. I'm like, excuse me? No. Like, so you're saying this only protects you if you believe in God? So if you were
there's
if you
there's lots of those there's lots of those tropes. You got to have faith for that to work. Any vampire movie and stuff like that, where some of those lines come out. Yeah, yeah, you got to believe for it to have effect. If you don't believe, then of course it doesn't work. But that's putting your faith in it.
well, now there's a difference between okay, so here's my question then. Are they talking about believers in the prayer or in what it's meant to do, or believers in the Christian faith?
I would say believers in the faith, because if you're saying something like the power of Christ compels you, if you don't believe that Christ was the savior and stuff like that, obviously you're not believing what you're saying.
I I have never uttered those words in an investigation yet.
Well, I hope you never have to.
I hope I never have
uh,
to. I do. I hold on. I do. Uh, every so often, I'm told that if you really want to get an evil spirit's attention, you ask, "Do you take Yahweh as your one true Lord and Savior?" Like that. I have done that multiple times as a question, and I have yet to get an answer or have any sort of reaction whatsoever. But I have never ever had to use the power of Christ compels you.
yeah,
Um,
I would
I,
personally
I,
never want to.
I suppose, yeah. But I guess for me, you look at all the stories and stuff that things come out and the evil that people have to deal with, all over the place, all over the world. And I guess, and you can call me selfish if you want. I guess I would rather be in a position to help somebody in that way as opposed to playing it safe and be like, gosh, oh, I never get this kind of case. Like that, that just seems
No,
not not the mentality to have if you want to be an investigator. You have to one of the obviously hope for the best, plan for the worst.
no, and
And
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, I hope you're never in a situation where you have to do that, because at that point you obviously, well, for me, I would be like, this is obviously out of my wheelhouse, and I need to get you to someone who can actually do this stuff, because this is gonna kick my ass as well.
be fine. Everybody
Yeah,
else
I
on the
would
other,
not.
who knows?
Yeah,
But I got a good supporting group behind me on that, and uh,
man, I honestly,
apparently I'm no slouch myself. But
I, I would say people are real brave until you're presented with that stuff,
mm,
and like when we were talking with Bob Bailey, um, I just think the reality of that would hit you, or hit most people, profoundly different, and they would find their courage lacking.
agreed. Uh, I for one, like we. This is getting off topic, but you know what? It part of the conversation, and also it goes to obviously, it goes to intent and stuff that you need, and why you would need a binding prayer or a binding spell. But when Dave was still a part of this, was I think this was before Odyssey even existed. This was probably 12 years ago now. We actually did a case, a paid case. So it wasn't, we didn't have a client. It was a fun investigation, but we were going to use it as a way of trying to get me scratched. Not because I wanted the experience, but because we figured that at some point in my career, it was going to happen. And let's try to get past that the scratch virginity. Let's try to pop that cherry under controlled circumstances as opposed to non. And then if it were to actually happen in the future, I would be better able to mentally and whatnot, handle it and continue
and
on.
Recognize it.
Lose my mind. Yeah, and recognize it. Sadly, it did not work. Did not get scratched. Still have not been scratched, which is fine. It's not like I'm disappointed by this, but yeah, or at least I don't think I have.
And I don't. Yeah, I was gonna. At least when I've experienced something like that, it felt like a burn. It didn't feel like a scratch. So it's not like it's not like you're it's not like something's cutting you or something like that. It feels more like a burning sensation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, just knowing what to look for, I guess what to expect there. But yeah, I think most people would probably freak out at that point.
Honestly, since the natures of the universe seem to work in reverse with me, like if I see a full-bodied apparition, I get more excited than anything. I think if I would get scratched, I don't think I'd get scared. I think I'd get angry.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I think I would get
for me.
So royally pissed off that
this thing scratched me. Yeah,
like, excuse me, mother effer.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I think I would go into full on provoke mode by that point, because now all bets are off. Like the gloves come off at that point in time.
But that's the other thing with that stuff. So I don't necessarily think that someone getting scratched is automatically it's a demon or it's a devil or what.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I think advanced ghosts or whatever you want to call it, whenever they can get to that level, they can do stuff and manipulate things like that. So yeah, I don't necessarily be like, oh, it's the devil that did this, but like, no, you just
I'm dealing with a level 10 entity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. And here's the thing, and maybe because it just occurred to me that I don't think I ever saw anything like this. Like I saw things where you could bind and banish spirits from certain places into certain things. So like I think that the binding ritual that Alfie did in the episode that I was referring to earlier, I think that was meant as a banishment. And then the one that I saw last night was meant to bind a spirit to a piano.
Okay.
But and this generalized, like the putting the binding spells on people, like living people, was meant to stop them from causing any harm. But god dang, I don't think I saw any sort of thing to just stop a spirit from causing harm. Like if a spirit is attacking like children or something like that, like I didn't see any sort of spell that was like, this entity is bound to not cause any harm to this family. I mean, I guess maybe
you'd have to be looking at either religious texts, I think, at that point, because I don't think most of the witchcraft and Wiccan and stuff like that I've seen really goes into a lot of those. You start dealing in high magics and stuff like that, where it's not the entry level stuff, where you start getting into Solomon and stuff like that. And you start dealing with circles and stuff like that. That's where you start getting into some of those things. But like I said, I would, when people start trying to bind spirits and stuff like that, just realize that if that whatever you're trying to bind gets free, it's not going to be happy with whoever did that.
um, and I think when you're dealing with a spirit, you probably wouldn't unbind it. But I know that there have been uh, several references to, if you're going to do a binding spell, make sure you can unbind it at some point in time, if obviously the situation changes. Um, and I think that a lot of people, I think, who do these things for uh, the right reasons do this, but I don't know if this is the proper place to bring in this question or not, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because as I'm reading all these things of the intent of why people are doing this, obviously the question comes up of, well, who makes that decision of what is wrong and what is right, and what is a proper reason for the binding spell or not. Obviously, molesting children, obviously, like abusing wives or husbands, either way, that obviously 100% is a good reason. But as I'm reading, I'm like, well, what happens if your ex-boyfriend cheats on you? Is that, what if you consider that to be an evil deed and now you need to bind them to do something else? Like, who makes that decision in the gray area of what is a good reason or not?
That kind of goes into the revenge thing. But I mean, there's the good reasons and there's the other side of it, which are the bad reasons. So, I mean, you get someone on the religious side who's going to be binding evil spirits or demons or whatever to make it where they're not doing harm. Whereas you got someone on the other side of that who's going to bind the same demon, but to do their bidding and to do what they want it to do. Now, either way, in either case, if that thing gets free or if that thing breaks the hold, like whoever did that is fair game.
Yeah, the occult did a search for the occult bindings. Um, Spirit binding refers to rituals and spells designed to restrain, tether, or form pacts with spiritual entities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the under service pacts, this is what it says: a mutual agreement. In this mutual agreement, the
Mm.
practitioner offers tribute or offerings in exchange for specific services from the spirit. Common
And
tasks include divination, protection, or delivering messages. Like, what? Like, I'm not going to hire a demon to be an Uber or a DoorDash.
well, but some people would think that that's no big deal. And like I said, you start getting that's the high magic stuff. Anything that requires you to do a protective circle when you're talking to whatever should tell you that if you need that protective circle, it's probably not it probably could go badly if you didn't have that circle there. So if it breaks, you break the deal, it gets free or something like that, that could have negative outcome towards you for doing that. Because I mean, basically, a lot of those things is you're dragging something up, you're bringing something to you. It's not like it chose to do it. You're doing it against its will, and you're forcing it to do something that there may be a trade involved, but you're still kind of forcing stuff there.
Yes, indeed. Um, yeah, I can imagine, especially if you're trying to deal with a demonic entity. I'm assuming go tell this person that I'm coming for them probably isn't on its to-do list, and will probably like behead you at some point in time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it. I so I would think most people's objective is not to draw attention to demonic beings and stuff like that. Whereas you just decided to yank this thing out of bed and pull it up into something and tell it to do your bidding for you. And yeah, I can't imagine that going badly if it were to get free or get control over you at that point.
Yeah, but people don't think about that like at all. um, yeah, I mean, there's even where was it? Where was it? Oh, here we go. It was under the Christian stuff. Returning curses to the sender. Yeah, in many charismatic and prophetic dominations, believers bind the source of a curse and make declarations that the ill intent is neutralized or turned back by divine justice. See, and this goes obviously to anybody who has ever written in or just written in general about who they think like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend like cursed them or whatever. I'm like, here you go, buddy. Return to sender.
That's why you don't try to curse another person. You go for if something is actively going against you, you just return it sevenfold or tenfold, whatever you want to call it, back to whoever is doing it. That way, it's not really you doing that. It's just you bouncing it back at them, and they take the effect of the negative stuff that they were trying to send your way.
I'm going to remember this the next time somebody gets mad at me and tries to put a curse on me, because that has happened.
Can't imagine that.
I guess I shouldn't laugh, but and might I just say severe overreaction.
Oh yeah. Well, most of those people are kind of anyone willing to call some of the dark stuff up to do things like that are not really thinking it through, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm reading.
That's all right.
So here's what I was talking about. So this is when I was like, how do people come up with this shit? Like for what? Like, I get the spoken word, absolutely. Like that's like probably the best intent because you're putting everything behind your words. You know, even the folded lead with the nail through it, fine. I can understand that. So simple. Written word on something that you can put your intent into, you know, the lead this time, nail that binds it all together. You know, the symbolism of it. I get it. So I found this on Reddit, naturally, because what isn't? It's a binding spell I've had success with, is the title of it. So here's what you'll need: black thread, a section of stick or branch, a slip of paper, a link to the target of your spell, which is like the hair or DNA or something like that. Or you could write it on a piece of paper. Black pepper, cinnamon, cloves, a piece of white cloth, and a pen or pencil. Like, who comes up with the? It's like, you know what? If I get this and I put, but you know what? I'm missing something. Let me put in like a piece of white cloth. Like, who comes up with these recipes? It is my question.
So on some of them, I'm sure there's some sort of logic to it because I think I've read the black pepper thing before and some of those other ones.
But cinnamon?
When you're I don't know. I was gonna say I'm sure there's some sort of
so it smells nice.
Sort of weird reason.
But it's like you'll take your herbs and awaken them. I don't even know what that means. Like yell at them, like shake them.
No, I would think that's something else.
Well, it says focusing on their protection and purifying energies. I'm sure that that's like put them underneath the moon or something like that. Like when you recharge crystals. I'm thinking, I don't know. I didn't know you had to awaken herbs.
Maybe so in ancient magic, cinnamon was primarily used as a sweet-smelling incense to win the deity's favor. So it was basically to get a deity's attention, the cinnamon. Yeah, I knew there'd be some reason for it. No, I was gonna say, but I would 9 out of 10 times, I bet you the people that are like, well, just you put the cinnamon in this thing and do that, they have no clue as to why they're doing it.
Probably not. No, I wouldn't. But yeah, there's a long. There's like probably 10 more paragraphs after the thing of how to do it.
See,
I'm
and the
like,
knot thing,
geez,
the thread and
give
the
me a
knot
piece of
thing.
lead.
So like there's I think it was Greek who did the thread, and they would do 365 knots to basically control that person or that intention for every day of the year.
Every day of the year.
Yeah.
um, yeah. Obviously, the most important part here is that as you focus your energy and cast your spell, you need to be specific.
Yes.
Like that.
Putting intention to it.
Well, not only that, but I think this person was saying that being too general is way too dangerous. Like you have to be very specific. Like if you were trying to stop a husband from beating his wife, you would literally have to put like this person, blah blah blah, is banished from harmfully touching his wife. You know, that sort of thing. You had to be very specific as to what you are trying to bind them from doing. But I honestly,
see now some of those things where they're trying to bind certain people and stuff like that, especially if they're trying to get entities to do those things. Like you send it after one person, well, who's to say it's going to stop at that person? So every person in that house is not going to feel the effects of that thing, because you may have sent it there for the one person, but if it happens to touch every other person in that house, so be it.
I would think that if you are willing to bind a demonic entity or even just an evil entity, then you have to be demonic to go after some person. I don't think innocent bystanders are really something you care about.
To the really dark side, no, but to the person who's playing with it, thinking that they're trying to do something good and don't realize that if you're
Something good. Okay.
Yeah, if you're wide open with your request or your demands, like it's going to twist those things and it's going to subvert them to make it not be a positive outcome, or not 100% positive.
I have learned through investigating and just talking with people and research and all this other stuff is that you have to be extremely specific when you are talking to spirits on the other side. Like I have, like, even asking a question, and I have banned this from anyone on my team doing it just because of the consequences that could come from it. But like, never invite a spirit to do anything to you. Like, don't use my energy, or people who say you use my energy or touch my hand, like all of that is an invitation for an attachment. Like you are inviting it to, into your space and to use your energy and whatnot. And even to the point where you say, show yourself to me. That is a very broad statement. And so without, like, they can come home with you and show themselves to you there if they want, because you didn't weren't. So you will find me, if I ever say something like that, I will start like, while we are here tonight. If you want to show yourself, go ahead and do so. Like, very specific.
Yeah, that being's like, got it. Show myself 3:00 in the morning while you're asleep in your bed. And
oh, I would never say that if I was sleeping there. No. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's under no circumstances are you to come into my room. Leave me alone, please. And I did that at the old Baraboo Inn. They had me sleeping in the brothel, where apparently a whole bunch of people, the spirits of the women that work there, apparently like to grope the men, especially if they're sleeping there. And I literally was like, I just make this very respectful request. Leave me alone when I'm sleeping. Like, you want to grope me any other time, fine.
But not when I'm asleep.
But not when I'm asleep. Just leave me alone when I'm sleeping. And they did. I did not get bothered at all while I was sleeping. Um, but anyway, but yeah. So just in general, whether you're doing a binding spell or not, very specific.
Oh yeah.
As specific as you can get, because you're right. There can be consequences if you don't.
I just don't think a lot of people either pay attention to that or think of those things until they find out the hard way with it.
Well, see, and I think that that's why if you're going to do this, and I and unless you are trying to actually stop a really heinous type of act, like I get that totally, and by all means do so, but go to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Don't do it yourself. Don't go out to the Target and buy a red candle and then like do it yourself because you're gonna screw it up. It's the same as self-cleansing your house. Like just bring. There are people who do it for free just because they want to help. Like just relax. Go to somebody who knows what they're doing, and you can get shit done right. So that's my intent right there. My intent of this show is to get people to do shit right. Here, so I want to read this because I thought this is a voodoo binding spell, and I don't know exactly what the reason for this spell is. Like, what's it supposed to do? Because it's a voodoo binding spell, but it's of a real person, like a living person. It says take a treasured object from this person. So you're already being a douche. That you are binding something flammable, apparently, and burn it. Then you rub the ash on the poppet's head, and you say you are blank in thought. Then you rub the ash on the hands and say you are the person indeed. Next, you rub the ash on the poppet's heart area and say you are person's name at heart, and I bind you from. And it says just about anything can be used here. So, like, if I were to be like, I bind you from not being married to anybody but me, like, can I, is that not, like, could that not be something that, but that almost goes right back to your instance about how you would make every other person not attracted to the person. So, like, the only one they could end up with, unless they just want to be alone, would be
Is
you.
Yeah. And really, like I said, I really you're kind of playing with the free will stuff there, and
I agree. I mean, and this obviously isn't a voodoo doll, as most people would call it or whatever. Like this is, and I guess I never really understood the term poppet until like right
the
now, because
doll.
I'm like, which obviously is that just another word for puppet, just with the
No,
different
it's
vowel?
just what they call it. It's just
Oh,
the little doll. It's a puppet. It's what they call dolls.
because it switches. Because this is the puppet's head, then it says the puppet's hands, the puppet's heart, and the puppet's hands and feet. Oh, then you're supposed to tie it. Never mind. I'm not gonna read that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bad part of it.
The final act of the binding spell. It is not in any way, shape, or form my intent or yours. Obviously,
Yes.
Anthony, I'm going to speak for you on this one because I'm pretty sure I'm correct. To give people ideas on how to do this stuff, just to be more aware and educated on it, and hopefully, if you are in a situation where something like this would help, emphasis on help, people, then it's another solution that could be used as long as it's done correctly. So this may just be bias on my part because I'm not a huge fan of how like the Christian religion has been used as a sort of, this is the only place where you can find salvation type of thing, and everybody else is wrong. Um, Especially after I read the inactive against believers. I hated that phrasing like so much. But the next thing that came down was breaking witchcraft and spells. So then it's like, oh no. It's like Christians frequently use declarations derived from biblical commands. I saw this quite a lot, but Matthew 16:19, like the book of Matthew, I saw referenced a lot in my research, even though the wording of it is ridiculous. It's like that in and of itself is like gibberish. To dismantle hexes, spells, and monitoring spirits assigned against them. So there are ways to.
All the religions have stuff like that. I mean, there's even the Aramaic and stuff like those have ways to control spirits and stuff like that. But I mean, it's the same. I mean, it all goes back to like the Solomon and stuff like that. There's always ways to do those things. Uh, a lot of those things, like if you ever see like the exorcist rituals and stuff like that, where they really to start getting power over it, they get it to or they trick it to say its name and stuff like that. So I mean, all of them have different ways to do those things. But yeah, I mean, I've I think Christianity is okay. I think that it went corrupt when they did or I think there was definitely some deviation when they started kicking all the books out of the Bible, which to me really shows the full picture. But it also, if you saw the full picture, it wouldn't give them as much control. So I think that there were ulterior motives to why they did what they did, and it was to keep power and to basically force you to them because they're the only way that you can find salvation, and you only get the one go at it, and all those other things which were not true previous to the council.
So let me clarify, because and I don't think my opinion matters to hardly anybody, but just in case, I want to make it clear my dislike of what is going on deals more with the Catholic organized religion as opposed to Christian faith. Christian faith is fine. I consider that to be something that I have myself. So when I say like I don't like how things have been changed, as you were talking about with their own self dealing and their own narrative and how they steered uh, the Bible towards this. I'm talking more about that.
The Catholic side of
The
it.
organized religion part of
Yeah.
it, as opposed to just being a Christian and having faith. That I 100% behind you on that one. So I want to go back to, because when we were talking about service packs, and we were talking about how the entities or whatever would come back and seek their revenge should they ever be
Yes.
released. Service packs that I read are a mutual agreement. So there I think you're all right, because then you had the deal between the two people. But there is a binding, coercive and warding binding, which that was what we were talking about. Unlike mutually beneficial pacts, this type of spell restricts a harmful or unruly entity against its will. Practitioners often use talismans, sacred geometric seals, or physical barriers, such as circles of salt, to neutralize the entity's ability to act.
Yeah. And then when it's allied, when it's allied, the strong wind comes along and breaks your salt circle, you're screwed.
I actually did it for the very first time. A home case. There was something connected to a bunch of black magic books that our client had they were her brothers who had passed away. Um, and so we literally put them all in a box. Cena couldn't get out there for a while to like cleanse them and stuff like that. So we put them all in a box, put it in the garage, and then put a ring of salt around
them.
Around them and on top of them and in it. Like I went nuts with the salt, that's for sure. I was like, I ain't taking any chances. Everything's getting salted. But it turned out it was right by a window though. And so when I went back, I think it was like a week later, it's the next weekend, with Cena, I think part of it had been blown away. So the salt had been busted out, but we ended up cleansing them while we were there, burning them, and stuff, and salt just page by page. I felt like I was in Texas at that point. It's just
we don't burn. At least I don't burn books. I am one that I have been told. I was told that I was evil because I dared to touch a subject that was controversial, and I pointed out that if you don't know these things, and how do you know to defend against these things? I was like, just because you have the knowledge doesn't make it evil. It's how you use that knowledge that makes it good or evil. And I was like, and I informed that person, by the way, go do your research. The Vatican has the world's largest occult library. Wonder why?
Yeah. I can't. Oh. And we won't get into this because we don't. But our next show, if he's able to, deals specifically with the Vatican, which is going to be amazing. So, but yeah, but sacred geometric seals. I'm assuming that's like the Viking and Celtic type stuff. Like they develop those.
That's generally high magic stuff. So that would get into Seals of Solomon. That would get into I can't think of the name of the words, but Crowley, and then we're into that stuff. That's where you get into the more practiced and ritual based spells and stuff like that, where you start getting into covens, and usually covens and stuff like that. Now there are solitary people that do the casting of circles and stuff like that as well, but generally that's the higher magic or group led stuff.
Yeah. All right. And obviously we have object binding, which is what, like the piano thing that I mentioned earlier, anchoring a spirit or residual energy to a physical object, such as a crystal, a mirror. Like we haven't heard that story before. Or a specially prepared jar.
Yeah, that's when you bind it into the jar, and then someone's digging in the yard and years later and breaks this jar, and hopefully you're not around for it to be like, where is this person that put me in the jar?
It's like almost like a genie in the bottle, genie in the lamp.
Kind of, yeah.
So to speak. Practitioners utilize this to contain entities that cause disturbances or to create a localized spiritual anchor for protective energy. Yeah, like I know that a lot of people, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, obviously when they hear spells, they think some black magic. You know, you're cursing somebody and stuff. But binding spells, for all intents and purposes now anyway, not so much in freaking Roman days. I should get a job at like the horse racing thing and like bury a freaking binding thing right before a horse is about to, although I would never do that to a horse. Maybe the jockey could fall off or something.
So you can fall off and lose an eye, or yeah.
Well, nah, just fall off.
No, those are pretty vicious.
Maybe get sick so they can't, because they have to race, because otherwise they'd be pulled. Anyway, binding spells, in general, are meant to for good. They're meant to help whether spiritual or not. Like I said, I was very I did not see the fact that binding spells could be used on human people. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
guess it
I
just
mean,
never
because you don't think that way. But yeah, I was gonna say they're
well, it's
just
never
for
come
the
up.
you have the good, you have the bad. So I mean, obviously, someone goes, "Well, hey, this works against this. What if I do it to Paul? Hey, it worked. What do you know?"
What if I do it to Paul? Paul's a. I wonder, could you bind somebody from just not from being a douche? Like, could you?
And then would that be a good thing or a bad thing? Because I mean, you're still really going after their will because they obviously that's who he's deciding to be at that particular point in time. But
Thank you, Debbie Downer. Jeez,
uh, trying to save you your karma points there. That's all.
I would never do it anyways. Um, if I haven't done a love spell by now, I certainly ain't gonna try to, do a binding spell to stop somebody from being an a-hole.
No, it just I and a lot of people that the love spell thing sounds awesome and oh, that's great. Gonna find love and there are ways to do some of those that are not terrible. It's when you go after I want this person to like me and no other person to like me, and then you get you know your pet rabbit in your food bowl later that day or something because they
Yeah.
went horribly wrong.
Like there's a love spell that I saw while I was looking for the uh like promo picture for this episode. And it's like, yeah, you just put your name and her name on a candle and you write some stuff on it and stuff like that, and then you let it burn. And it's like, well, fuck, why don't I like put Taylor Swift in apparently it's supposed to work. You just have to put the name in there. I get the full name too. It's in public. I'm like, why not? Sorry, Travis.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's I think because of the will thing, like maybe the only time I think you would ever, and this is still very, very much a maybe, or and maybe leaning towards probably still not do it, is the if you both know that you want to be with each other, but there's something interfering with that, and I hate to use this as an excuse, but like the woman who's scared of leaving her husband, for fear of what he might do. Like maybe, maybe if that was the case, like you knew this other person wanted to be with you but couldn't for some reason, fine. But if you're trying to like literally somebody like who doesn't like you or doesn't even know you exist, and you're trying to take away and point her love towards you, you're gonna get your ass kicked. I
Yeah,
like
it's going to go badly. I mean, and it may work at first, but there's always that turn that you don't see coming.
right, and I think Love Potion number 9 does it perfectly. If you've ever seen that movie, Sandra Bullock and some other guy.
Yeah, where it gets obsessive and yeah. I mean, that's
Well,
exactly
well, I mean, it like Love Potion number 9. Or wait, no, I think they get number 8. Number 8 is through the whole movie where everybody just lusts after you, like they just feel like you're the special one. But the whole thing at the end, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, is that Love Potion number 9. If you kiss the woman while you have it in your system or whatever, or you both have to have it. That's right, you both have to have it in your system, and you kiss each other, and you both want to be with each other, then it like nothing can break it. Like not even Love Potion number 8. Like it will not affect you anymore, and you will be together. But if you're wrong, you lose them forever.
yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like almost like a covenant or something like that, some sort of agreement that you're making there. But
It's a movie,
yeah,
but
I thought
uh,
maybe I'm thinking a different one with her in there where she does some sort of spell and it causes him to be a psychopath. Maybe it's practical magic or something. I don't know.
maybe. Um, Yeah, because no, Sandra Bullock's character was not the one that did it.
Okay.
Neither of the main he got it because he bought it from somebody, from the
Yeah, it's definitely a
a
different movie
practitioner.
then.
I think I'm not a huge like Sisters of the Traveling Pants uh movie fan, so I've never seen that or Practical Magic. So it could have been either of those two.
Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. I mean,
That's Practical Magic. I think they're coming out with
Yeah.
Practical Magic Part 2.
Yeah.
Not that I care about such things. Anyways, so yeah. I don't really have anything else. If you do, like if we is there something that we've missed?
No, the main one where I thought you were focusing before, like I said, is like really goes after the Testament of Solomon and stuff like that, and that's where they basically an archangel gave him the ring that let him control demons and stuff like that.
That's it? You don't have anything more
Yeah,
than oh. Curse me for
What?
having two computers.
typing on the
Sorry.
wrong one.
Yep. trying to type on the wrong keyboard. Because I want to look up Solomon.
Yeah, I can't remember which angel.
Ritualistic invocation of angels and demons historically rooted in the Testament of Solomon and the Lesser Key of Solomon. Oh, here we go. The ring and the seal. The foundational tool in Solomonic binding is the Ring of Solomon, which, according to lore, was engraved with the divine hexagram or pentagram. So we don't even know what it was actually engraved with. Okay. The concept used to imprint and bind spiritual entities, forcing them into submission.
And you too can do this magic with the symbol that we may or may not know is yeah.
I would assume that if I were to take a ring and I were to do a hexagram or a pentagram onto a ring, it probably would not be very effective against demonic entities or angels.
Well, and the key thing there is that, or the key part that is missing from there is that the angel gave it to him, and I'm not thinking that you can, even if it was a perfect one-to-one match, I'm still thinking it's not touched by an angel or divine whatever with
Exactly.
with that.
I wonder if I were to create a ring such as this and bring it to the Vatican and shake hands with the Pope and ask the Pope to bless my replica, quote unquote, of the King of Solomon thing, would it not be bestowed? Maybe not the same type, but not far off.
Yeah, I would think an angel, or we're assuming that an angel is the one that did something to it. It could have been from God, because I mean, like we said last week, angels are messengers. It's not it's a job title, not a.
But the Pope is the messenger of God here on earth. It's his representative.
Yes, he's the only one that God speaks to, and he interprets through whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all right. Yeah, good for them. What do you know about the 44 seals of King Solomon?
Have the books.
You have the book?
I have the books. I'm one of the ones that says that it's knowledge, not what you do with that knowledge, not the knowledge itself. But yeah, I mean, I've looked into all that stuff.
What are the 44 seals of King Solomon supposed to do?
So those are the seals for the demons, and those are the corresponding demons that go to those seals and stuff like that. That names and stuff like that are in those books.
Gotcha. So each one of these seals has sealed off a demonic entity.
Or yeah, and and there's rules for making the seals and stuff, and they've got to be constructed out of certain materials, and yeah,
Lead.
no, a lot of them are gold and stuff, like gold, silver, and stuff like that. Not quite as easy to come by. And like I said, I don't know. You're forcing something. You're drawing that attention to yourself. That thing may never have known about you, and now you just put a spotlight on yourself, and you're forcing it to do something that's obviously against what it's wanting to do. And if that thing breaks free, which it's got all the time in the world, you don't, and it's a lot smarter than probably you, me, and whoever, because it's been around for as long as it has. So it just doesn't seem like a wise decision. Maybe if you had a ring from an angel, that would be a different story. But you're with your created ring that could or could not be the right symbol on it, or
Hmm. Divine conjuring and binding. The binding command. Spirits are strictly bound by the authority of the Christian Trinity, such as, I bind thee to remain affably and visibly before this circle, within this triangle, so long as I need thee to depart not without my license. Sorry. I know what he's saying, but just reading it verbatim in this type of or not verbatim, but literally in this type of modern age, I just see this demon. He can't leave without taking my actual driver's license with him.
yeah. And the other thing to realize is that these books are translated into English, obviously, but this is all based on someone it was definitely written in Hebrew or Jewish. So I mean, you're hoping that whoever translated these things translated them right. Also, if you're going to try to do this stuff seriously, so I don't know. That's a big roll. That's a big dice roll there that you could come up craps on.
Yeah, there's even the formula for spirit control. Reading loud, forceful prayers invoking the Creator to compel the spirit to appear. The bind, utilizing the seal and commanding the demon or angel to perform its task. Don't know what that would mean. And the license to depart. Always ending with a formal dismissal and a closing prayer of thanksgiving to God to ensure the spirit leaves peacefully. Because that always works.
Yep. Just like closing the session on the Ouija board always has a positive effect there. No negatives.
I think it's part of like the instruction manual of a Ouija board. I think like it actually is sure like you close your sessions and here's how you do it. Like I think that's part of the actual instruction manual.
It is, but I mean, how many people don't do that?
Everyone?
It's just a game. Yeah, it's just a game. I bought it at the store.
I will tell you I'm going to say a secret that I've never told anybody. I'm going to say live on the air right now. When I close every one of my investigations, I do so in a very specific way. I close all doors, make sure that they know all requests, all invites, blah, blah, blah. They're now, they're no longer relevant. They're no longer valid. And I say, and I bid you good night and I bid you goodbye. And I end the investigation there. I got that from the Ouija board instructions. Like, if it works for the Ouija board, it'll work for my investigation. And
it does. You stay here, and I'm going home now. Yeah. I was going to say,
screw you guys. I'm going home. I fully will Cartman the shit out of that. But yeah, so interesting. God, there's so much love learning. So now I have a whole new set of things I need to use. And
yeah, see, there's a Nokia magic too, which that's supposed to be getting angels to do what you want to do and stuff like that, because that is somehow less risky, and it's like still forcing a being to do something it may or may not want to do. Yeah, good luck.
Well, but aren't angels just supposed to want to help you? Like, don't you just need to ask for the help? Like, that's what I've always been told is you need to pray to the angels and just ask them for help, and they will come and help you.
Yeah, but the Enochian stuff is the same thing as like the Solomonic magic and stuff, just with angels instead of demons. So you're just a different side of the coin. And I think a lot of people think because it's an angel, like, well, this is good then, it's because you're forcing it to do these things to help you, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, no. Even I'm not dumb enough to think that I'm like, I need to force Michael to do this stuff.
You,
No,
you can pray
I
all
don't.
you can pray all day. That's not a bad thing. But when you start being like, no, I command you to come before me, and I need you to do this task for me, and like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, your your brake lines are going to be cut by the sword of Michael. It's just, uh, yeah, never, 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 never. Um, but hey, to anybody that wants to try it, I wish you the best of luck. If you survive, make sure you write in to us. Let us know how that went for you.
How that experience went, and how long it's been since that occurred.
Maybe
Oh,
when
I
you
was
come
gonna
out of
tell
your
you.
coma.
I was gonna tell you. So, and I don't. I have to look and see where I saw that at, but I could have swore because you'd said one other time about when you destroy the object and stuff like that. Somewhere I read that lets it go free. So, like burning or destroying the object, like releases it to go wherever it wants to. So that would be like breaking a binding spell and stuff like that as well.
So I've honestly had that question in my head the last, I don't know, 20 minutes because uh the piano episode that I watched last night, where I thought they bound this what they thought may whatever this negative entity that they were dealing with was to this piano. They then they removed the piano from the property, and everything was really good there. And they said right there, like on that episode, that a lot of people burn stuff, and that I think it says in that set it free or whatever. That I think they said something almost exactly to that. So what they were going to do with this piano was destroy the piano, bury it on consecrated land. And so they have this like entire montage at the end of the episode of the team all taking an axe to this piano and like destroying the obviously chopping it into little bitty pieces, or not little bitty, they were big pieces, and then burying it on consecrated. So they didn't burn it, but I was just thinking, I'm like, if you destroy the piano, if you break it into all sorts of different pieces or whatever, does that not release it, or is it only if you like get
It was
rid of it in reality?
it was my understanding whatever vessel it happens to be in, regardless of doll, book, piano, jar, once the vessel is destroyed, it's free. It's out. It's can move to wherever it wants to go. Now it can, where if it was like in a building and the building was destroyed and taken to the ground, well, now you've just kind of opened the door and let it go out wherever it wants to at that point. It's no longer tied to that particular place, vessel, and you kind of let it go. Now where it goes from there, who knows?
Well, then I guess the question now then has to be, where is the line between this thing is a piano and this thing is now destroyed?
See, I would have to go look to make sure, but I would think once you destroy it, like you've basically broken the containment.
But what's the definition of destroyed? I mean, if you were to take something apart like they did with this piano, is that considered destroyed?
I would think that's destroyed. I would
Okay.
think that's damaging the vessel that you'd put it in and allowing it to go.
So then by the
Now, if
time
you
they
tip,
buried it,
yeah, it's
it
not
was
really
no
there.
longer there anyways.
Yeah. Now I would think like if you did the containment to a jar and managed to get it into a graveyard that was consecrated and put it at the bottom of that where no one's ever going to disturb it, maybe have some luck at that lasting for a long time. But I would think even with that stuff, eventually materials break down, the lid's gonna rust away, and then it's gonna open. And like I said, you're dealing with stuff that usually has all the time in the world.
Yes, yes, it does. And it will probably come after uh, you in another life. Who knows? Maybe sometimes when you get these cases that are like supposedly demonic, and they're like, "How did it even get in here?" Maybe it finally got free, and it's coming to get you in another life.
Well, what were you doing? Well, we were digging in the yard and we broke this jar, and then shit went all crazy and bad. Yeah, I mean, someone could have done that. You never really think about those things, but like some cases, you really like, well, okay, what did you do? Now, if they're digging in the yard and they find broken glass, are they really going to think that they did something, or are they going to put two and two together to know that this was some sort of thing they should have not messed with? And did they even know not that? I mean, most people aren't going to really even realize what it is.
Yeah. To any investigators out there, uh, if you're ever going to do something like this, and you make sure you like write in permanent marker, like demon inside, do not break. Like, just maybe give somebody a heads up, because people are curious, and curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah,
Sometimes literally.
just ask the people who opened the Dybbuk box.
I don't like Dybbuk boxes.
Oh no, I would.
I don't like. I mean, I don't like the
just.
concept of them. Is what I mean. I don't like the concept of Dybbuk boxes. Fucking
Oh
ridiculous.
no, not really. I mean, it's basically they're binding it to that box. They tricked it into the box and they sealed it in there. And the next,
Yeah, but you know how many people try to sell a Dybbuk box and there's nothing in there except an old candle that they no longer want on their kitchen table.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that there's not
knickknacks.
lots of shady people on eBay selling haunted crap that I don't know. Who knows what they're doing to those things?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Somebody has tried to sell a garbage bag, and they said there was a ghost inside. It's like it was like $200 or something like that. Like it was just
Did someone buy it?
I'm sure somebody bought it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Anyways, I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I mean that pretty well covered that stuff.
Anything in your research that we didn't get to?
The words where you asked some of it came from. So like I know that hocus pocus comes from binding spells and stuff like that, where it was originally a poem for the god Apollo, and it was a Latin phrase, and because it was a common person and they weren't smart enough to reproduce the Latin, it turned into hocus pocus, and now you've got that abracadabra, much the same thing. A lot of those words like that were words of power back then, and I mean, really, it was people misunderstanding or misreporting what they were hearing, or didn't know how to comprehend what they were hearing because they were not of the intelligence to comprehend those things.
Like song lyrics.
Yes. Excuse me while I kiss the sky instead of kiss the sky. Yes.
Again, seek out somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes.
All right.
Making those things could cost you.
Yes, they can. Especially if the person you're doing it to knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Let's try not to use magic to get rid of magic.
Yes.
Like that just doesn't seem to be the proper way of doing things. So again,
just not a beginner thing. That's a well advanced thing.
Yeah. All right. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. All right. Well, like I said, Anthony and I are off next week. That it only matters to the people doing it right now and going to listen to the next week. But you know what? Just know that we had a good time. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back on the 12th with an amazing guest. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So don't
Me
screw
too.
this up, Anthony.
Try not to.
But either way, we'll be back on the 12th with another brand new episode. So stay tuned to that. So everyone have a very happy and safe 4th of July. If you're here in the States, if you're not here in the States, then enjoy yourselves in life. And if it's after the 4th of July, I hope it was great. But yeah, for Anthony and myself, everyone stay healthy, stay safe. Want to see you back here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.